indeed, and I'm sure we're all keen on making sure that we continue to have good progress in those areas. So thank you. Councillor Whitehead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I sort of touched on the first comment. On your behalf and on Council's behalf, I was proud to represent our city at the Lumco-Marco discussions on Friday morning, and I can tell you, I think there's a movement to actually combine the two, Marco and Lumco, into the ones. Lumco is the large urban mayors caucus for Ontario, and Marco, maybe you can, I can't remember what the acronym stands for. Okay, well, I didn't catch it either. But there was some great discussions and great presentations that were presented. There's a mayor from Thunder Bay that's been working on the emergency services kind of file and made a very comprehensive presentation to the board. And I can tell you that they talked about the arbitration was the number one issue, and the challenges with municipalities, and cited a number of examples out of Niagara and Windsor, the ability to pay, and I believe in Windsor's case they provided a very salient presentation that was never addressed by the arbitrator in respect to what was transpiring with their assessments, their growth, and many of the other challenges. And unfortunately, arbitrators still, even though it's in the legislation, appear to completely ignore those arguments. He did touch base on the Police Services Act and the modernization and the changes on the governance. It's my understanding that decision and consultation will continue till probably September. I know that a number of councils have taken some positions. I'm not sure if this council has taken a position on the police services governance, but it's something that we might want to consider. There was another presentation, and this was by, I believe, the CEO of York, and it was a very compelling argument about the pressures of municipalities moving forward. And I sort of touched on the fact that targets aren't being met, and some of these targets are actually forced upon municipalities or sort of facilitated through legislation by the province of Ontario. And what it means is that you actually make investments based on these targets and the growth projections, and if you're not met, that burden is because the development charges are not being generated, and if it's not being generated, then that cost is actually being picked up by the taxpayers of the community. And it's creating a bit of a deficit situation, and not just with Hamilton, but with many other communities. And I believe York's example, they cited, and I can't remember over what period of time, but they're looking at close to a $200 million impact based on this challenge. So obviously the other discussion they had was whether or not we should be looking at other types of revenue tools for municipalities, and they're still having that discussion. I can't go into too detail because they're still trying to flesh that out. I think there will be an announcement by AMO in the near future on that issue. I really enjoyed the conversation and got to reacquaint myself with a number of mayors that I haven't seen for a while, but certainly was very familiar with through my board. The Friends of Achiemore, I mean, of course, on the Saturday was the open house, or open doors. And they had a meeting with Friends of Achiemore at Achiemore for, I think, the first time in a long time. And of course, the general public had a chance to tour through the facility. Councillor Skelly sat there and interviewed some very interesting guests in the morning, and I provided some closing remarks. But it was great to see the type of activity level during open doors at Achiemore, and I want to thank Friends of Achiemore for helping facilitate that particular meeting. Mr. Mayor, on Thursday, May 11th, I guess is that tomorrow? Yes. Tomorrow night, correct. Tomorrow night, staff will be hosting an information discussion at Mohawk College, the Fennel campus in the Collaboratory from 6:30 to 9 p.m. And that's in respect to the former Hamilton Psychiatric Hospital Lands and Development Opportunity Study. So for those who are really interested in what the opportunities are and what possibilities lay ahead, please come and provide your input and be part of the discussion. Ms. Mayor, I had mentioned the last time I was here that my parents had, and I was going up to Sudbury, and unfortunately, Westcliff inceptual type neighborhood discussion. Although I understand 50 people attended, and there was good dialogue and discussions during that meeting. But I did go to Sudbury, and it was a surprise party for my mother and father. It was their 60th anniversary, and lo and behold, I guess even the seniors are catching on to social media, because the next day I get a notice that my dad puts out that it was a great evening for his 60th anniversary, and